All right. So you may have heard the saying, not drinking or drinking and drugging are just symptoms of the problem. All right. One of those problems that I had was codependency. And what that means, that's a big broad stroke, but that means the way I was raised, I don't understand boundaries. They're all over the place. Like, as far as I don't know, I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. But if I could summarize it, it means I was very susceptible to be taken advantage of, and I was also susceptible to take advantage of other people when I was out in my disease. And my intentions were always good, but I had a lot of narcissistic behavior as well, rather than, seeing more codependency in my sobriety. So I see a lot of people going through issues in relationships when they stop drinking and drugging. So let's say they get a year or two of sobriety, but all of a sudden they're in this relationship and they're starting to see that their girlfriend is mean or cheating on them or abusing them, or that their boyfriend is, or vice versa, their husband, or maybe they were in an abusive relationship the whole time. So it's important to understand that, we're allowing these things to happen. If you're being abused, it's because we have, to a certain extent, allowed that. Doesn't mean it's right or I'm justifying abuse by any means. I'm just saying, from a standpoint of my experience, I was in an abusive relationship because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what abuse was. I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. And I've been in a couple of dysfunctional. I mean, I have a role in that too, right? Like, it's not like somebody put a gun to my head and said, you have to be with this person. But there were, along the route in my sobriety, there were just horrible experiences, a lot of pain and frustration as it relates to relationships. So I was in a marriage that was very abusive. I learned a lot about personality disorders. And I think if this is something you're facing, you got the drinking out of the way, you got the drugging out of the way, you don't want to use, but you're in a relationship that is driving you crazy, or maybe your partner cheated on you, or they did something just horrible, and you're trying to deal with it and understand, why would they do this to me? How did this happen? Well, the best resources I've come across that help, I know the 12-step program, there's CODA, right? So there's Codependent Anonymous, which I'm sure is fantastic. Some meetings are better than others. But what I stumbled across when this happened to me, I went through a divorce a few years ago. It was nasty. It was ugly. There was just, I don't want to throw her too far under the bus, but, that's not my intention here. But I can just tell you, horrible things were done to me. And there was lying, there was cheating, there was dishonesty, there was just like, I was homeless with my daughter. I was kicked out of my own house based on total lies and just the most insane circumstances you could imagine. And here, I was a good guy, like providing for my family, and I was the one being abused, yet, she would accuse me of being abused. So there was projection, there was deflection, there was mind reading, there was denial. The last few years since my divorce, I have just studied what are these behaviors? Like, why does somebody act this way? And, I go back to the relationship. Like, I tried to take her on like a sponsee. I knew there were some issues going into it. And she committed to getting help, and, we were going to go to counseling together and blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as the counselor said some things she didn't like, she divorced me instead of getting the help that he was suggesting. And I can tell you this, if you're going through anything like this, any type of frustration, any behavior, maybe your girlfriend, like, I just came across somebody and in a very similar circumstance. I'll just leave it at this. Several people have come to me dealing with these type of issues in relationships. Here are some resources for you. Ross Rosenberg wrote a book called The Human Magnet Syndrome, and anything that Ross Rosenberg does is going to be helpful. Pick up some of his material on narcissists. Also, Lisa Romano has some really good stuff. All of these are in my playlists and my liked stuff on my YouTube channel, the Simplify YouTube channel. I guess the one you're on right now. You can go down, you can get into YouTube. There's a myriad of other resources, just people who talk about the narcissistic mindset and the codependent mindset. You can discover where it is that you settle into that, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't be putting up with certain things. And I can identify them a lot easier now, much better, almost in any relationship. If somebody comes to me and, there are certain terms you need to understand. Interdependent, that's what a healthy relationship is. Mind reading, learn about mind reading. It's when somebody assigns you motives. Learn what abusive behavior is. Dr. John Lunt, get familiar with him. He's got a book. One of the books he did, I think, is called How to Hug a Porcupine. He's got some other great literature on what actual abuse is. There's like a list of 25 things that he goes through and outlines exactly what abusive behavior is. And you have to have enough self-respect for yourself to just not put up with that stuff. And it's, realize it's better to be alone than to be with somebody who's going to treat you that way. And if you are on the codependent side of the spectrum like I am now, it's really hard to understand why somebody would do these things to you. We internalize it as, we did something wrong. And, I've taken it all the way back to the relationship with my own mother. There's some serious issues that my mom and I have always had. I think some serious issues that she still has as far as disorders go, like actual personality disorder. There's something there. I don't know, but that's definitely what I have seen, in my opinion, is. And that's trickled into my relationships with other women for many years. Like, I will see behaviors and accept them as normal and like, oh, this is what it should be. And it's not. It's abusive and it's horrible. So learn about that stuff. Educate yourself on healthy behavior versus unhealthy behavior. There are so many resources. I've got all types of stuff that I've liked and added to my playlist on the YouTube channel. You don't need to live that way. And if you're suffering through something like that and you're on the other side of it now and you're hurting as a result of the way that someone else has treated you, just know that the pain goes away eventually and you grow from it. And it's one of the best things that could have happened to you is severing that tie to that anchor that was holding you back from being yourself and living your potential. You'll celebrate it later, I promise. And you'll connect with people that are like you. Once you do your work, you will attract. I'm in a relationship right now. It's just the healthiest thing I've ever experienced. It's wonderfully boring. There's just no trauma, and I'm having to get used to that. I'm so used to all this craziness and drama and, in my relationships and wondering, why would they do this? Why I'm a good guy. I did the right thing. Why are they doing that? None of that now. You kind of sync up with similar vibrations, like frequencies, like minds, like hearts. These are the type of people you want in your life. Then you can flourish and live your potential and be the person that, that God wants you to be, if you will. I don't know. At a minimum, you can put it that you'll live your potential, and you'll be grateful for it later. If you just get through the pain, it's going to hurt. No way around it. Educate yourself. Find these resources. If you have, you can put comments or questions here, and I'll do everything and anything I can to help you out and get you lined up with some better resources. I'll just kind of start you down the rabbit hole, and you can dig away there. And good luck. I know it's hard being, it's hard being sober sometimes. There's a lot of additional problems that we have to deal with once we stop drinking and drugging. So good luck. Let me know if I can help you with anything. All right? Thanks. Bye.